Hello, I'm Simon.
I'm Dan.
And this is the Wikicast, a podcast where Wikipedia takes us to a random article each week and we talk about what we find. Dan, what are we talking about this week?
This week, Simon, we're talking about Darren Ford.
Darren Ford?
Darren Ford.
Why is Darren Ford on Wikipedia?
He is a baseball player. He is, according to Wikipedia, he's nicknamed the Bullet.
The Bullet?
The Bullet. He's an American professional baseball center fielder for the Somerset Patriots.
The Somerset Patriots?
The Somerset Patriots are the Atlantic League of professional baseball.
So where's sorry, I actually, this is a legitimate accent for me. This is what some of my friends from home sound like. Where's Somerset in America?
That's a brilliant question. It's also a question I cannot give you an answer to.
Okay, you stay on that page and I'll do some. I'll go down the wiki rabbit
I can,
hole.
however, tell you that he was born in New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
In Vineland, I believe. He's 31 years old. He bats right and throws right, which is good because you wouldn't want to bat or throw wrong.
No. So is he particularly noteworthy then? Why is he called the Bullet?
His nickname is derived from his world-class foot speed.
I thought you were going to say his world-class head. Like he just had a very conical head.
Although it has not translated into a high percentage of stolen bases. So he's very quick, but he's a little bit shit. He played for South Vineland Little League. And, hang on. He's the grandson of Ted Ford, who played in the majors in the early 1970s.
I'll be honest with you. I know nothing about baseball.
You introduced me to baseball, really, didn't you?
Well, I mean, I introduced you to American football.
Yeah. Oh, my God, yeah.
Which is a wildly different sport, Dan.
Yeah. Wow, okay.
You really paid attention during the Super Bowl, didn't you?
To be fair, and
you were like,
will agree,
when are they going to steal a base?
It's been a very busy week.
It has been. That was a segue and a half. You want to talk about this week, don't you?
Here we go. So,
we've been playing baseball.
For those of you who don't know, we have been
singing. A choir. It's every episode, Dan. In case you haven't picked up on this yet, we're both singers.
We've been singing for the graduation ceremonies, the summer session graduation ceremonies
at Exeter University. Yes.
Yeah. Which has meant getting up early every day and singing a great deal. And generally being pretty tired by about we leave campus we finished singing at about 3.
Yeah, and we start singing at 8:45. Yeah. We actually in total do about 30 minutes of work in the whole day. But for me, I'm trying to fit PhD stuff around it. So I'm doing like 15 minutes of singing, then we disrobe and everything, and then we sneak out, and then I've got like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah.
To do some work and then kind of go back and do it. So I'm constantly changing between like mental states.
While I don't have a PhD to do, I am singing the first tenor line in the Philip Lawson arrangement of Bohemian Rhapsody, which has top B's and C's, which is sickeningly high.
Yeah, if you imagine, the best way to describe it is probably, you will know the famous aria Nessun Dorma, which is basically, if you think of Pavarotti, if you imagine Pavarotti singing, that's what he's singing, and that's the high note at the end that Dan has to sing.
A better way of describing it might be to go to the Exeter University YouTube channel or our Facebook page and watch the video, kindly and brilliantly produced by our very own Simon Clark.
In record time. We did one take, and then I edited it in the space of about 2 hours.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's come out really well.
I think it has. I mean, we cheated a bit. Well, I cheated a bit because I put a different aspect ratio on it, so it looks more cinematic. That's a whole podcast we could talk about. Just different aspect ratios properly turn into Komodo mayo.
Oh my God, yeah.
But yeah, no, it has been an exhausting week though, because I mean, my favourite bit has just been trying to transition from a completely musical mindset to a completely scientific mindset, or in your guys' case, basically singing and then drinking.
Yes.
Having an imperial breakfast.
Yeah, so the Imperial, or Impy as it's known collectively.
It's a huge Wetherspoon.
Yeah, it's the largest in the southwest of England, I believe.
I think it might have the most tables of any Wetherspoons as well. It's over 200 tables, isn't it?
It's crazy.
Wetherspoons, by the way, for those not from the UK, is like a pub chain.
Yeah. So think of it like that's a really bad example because that only exists in the UK. I was going to say like a Little Chef, but for pubs. Again, that's not helpful. I could have said like McDonald's or Burger King.
Yeah.
But
it's a bit more characterful than that. And they take over a place and then they will make it a spoons.
Yeah, so while it is part of a franchise, every Wetherspoons usually has its own little kind of aesthetic.
And we are very fond of our our spoons because MP's close to campus, but it's also a beautiful building. It was an old stately home.
I think so.
And it has an orangery, which has been converted into a bar section.
Yeah.
And that is like
it's
standard
famous amongst students,
yeah.
isn't it? Everyone goes to MP.
And basically all the people other than me have been having breakfast there, Wetherspoons breakfast at 9:00 after the first service.
Yeah.
After we've done Whole Snooks Dimittis.
Yeah.
And the You Are the New Day arrangement. Is that a Philip Lawson arrangement? It's a King Singers arrangement.
I think so.
Which are both fine pieces, and then we go out the second service because basically we have to give the tenors a bit of a chance to warm up.
Yeah, because basically I can't sing anything above a G.
Until then.
Yeah.
And then we go and do Bohemian Rhapsody, and you have that ripple of at the start, people start laughing, and it's like, oh, this is funny. And then about 3 minutes in,
they're like, oh my god, they're doing everything. They're singing the guitar part.
Which you might, listening to this, dear listener, might wish us to sing it, and we don't want to.
No,
because we've done it 15 times. Well, we've done 15 ceremonies this week.
Yes,
and
we've been very, very busy.
As we talked about, was it last time or 2 times ago? We're going to Truro Cathedral.
Yeah,
on Monday.
we're going. Well, we're actually going on Sunday.
Oh.
We're going up on Sunday. We're singing on Monday, and then we're back in Exeter Monday evening.
Which is going to be really fun, and it's also my last time ever singing with the choir officially.
No,
which I'm really quite sad about. The choir has been very good to me.
Yeah,
it has given me my girlfriend. It's not. Sorry, it's not like it's a tithe.
Yeah. By the end, as long as you filled out a certain amount of work, you get these. They're like little.
After 500 services, you get like a special award.
Yeah. It's like how your Patreon works. Like it's like little. You get rewards for each kind of level of commitment.
Well, I've had 4 years of service.
Yeah.
3.5, I suppose.
Yeah, I have a measly 2.
Yeah, 2 now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be sad leaving. But I will definitely be coming back and singing. Whenever possible, I'm sure.
And you'll be singing where you go.
Yeah, I know Mum has actually tried to. She wants me to join her opera company's. She doesn't own it, but the one that she's in, wants me to join the chorus, basically to keep me off the streets. I think to give me something to do.
Well,
now, while we've been. Go on. Are we both been doing the same thing?
Thank God that she wants to keep you off the streets, because in November 2000
a day that will live in infamy. 2000.
For God's sake.
Was that when Y2K happened?
Yeah.
The Y2K bug just hit your brain.
It wasn't even the year 2000.
Your mental clock just went...
I can't do this. In November 2009, Ford, this is back to Darren Ford, told police that he'd been robbed at gunpoint for $1,517.08.
That sounds like a very specific amount.
Yeah. It sounds like he's trying to pay off a debt, and he's just told them this is what they took.
That was a technique actually used in the book I'm reading at the moment about persuasion and negotiation.
Oh, and written by was it FBI or CIA?
FBI main hostage negotiator, not Chris Pine, he's in Star Trek.
Yeah.
Chris Voss.
Chris Hemsworth.
Yes, Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Thor wrote this book.
Yeah.
And the thing he really hammers home is hit them with your hammer.
Yeah. Hammers home. Very good.
Thank you. If you quote a specific figure, it's more believable. People say, because you'll work out, it implies that you worked out precisely how much you are owed in a situation.
Well, I think this is what they found, because the following July, he was accused of lying about the incident and was charged for making false reports to law enforcement.
Like the opposite of... What was the swimmer who... do you remember this? In the Brazil Olympics?
No.
It was an American swimmer who...
What year was this?
As in the Brazil Olympics in 2016? 2016.
I don't think I watched the Brazil... Oh, is this when the pool turned green?
No, yeah, it was that Olympics.
Yeah.
But it was this guy who... He was like... Was it Lochte or something like that? He went to a gas station and basically just beat up somebody, I think.
No, I didn't hear about it.
Yeah, it was like a big scandal. And then, basically they wheedled him back. It was like negotiation where he was going backwards and backwards. And it was like, yeah, okay, I basically beat up the guy.
God.
This is probably slander, and I'm probably going to get sued now.
Yeah.
But whilst you were talking, by the way, I looked at where Somerset is in New Jersey.
Ah, that makes sense.
And also, interestingly, Wikipedia tells me Somerset housed one of, I thought that was more interesting than that, housed one of the first Marconi wireless stations in the United States.
Oh, right. Well, I was just reading here something that his MLB debut, so Major League Baseball,
I presume so,
was for the San Francisco Giants. So that was a big kind of step up. And then again, presumably because when they're talking about he's very quick, but it's not translated into a high percentage of stolen bases. He was then moved back down to like the Atlantic League.
Okay, because I would have seen... I have watched one game of baseball when I was waiting in a bus station in San Francisco. And presumably I would have watched that team. Maybe he was on the field.
Maybe he was.
When was he in San Francisco?
2010.
Oh my god! I think I might have actually watched him.
There you go.
Seriously, I was in California in summer 2011, I think.
Right.
And yeah, I watched a game in San Francisco, so presumably it was the San Franciscan team.
On April 30th, 2011, Ford recorded his first major league hit. So you may well have seen him. Wow, that might be the best segue that's ever happened.
And I'll tell you what, that game was the most boring thing I've ever seen on TV.
Well, I don't want to kind of slander baseball, but it is a little bit boring.
I mean, the natural comparison we make to baseball is cricket, because we're English.
Yeah. And
you spent our time in Australia, the other great cricketing nation. Well, apart from, India.
Yeah.
Where it's the biggest sport there. Yeah, like we're used to scores of a game where you take a bit of wood and you hit a ball with it to be in the hundreds.
Yeah.
And in baseball, it's like, after 3 hours, they've got 2 points.
Yeah.
It's like...
And it's really interesting because it's something, baseball and American football are the two largest sports in America.
I don't know if basketball might be bigger, actually.
Than which?
Than baseball.
Oh, I don't think so.
Hang on, you keep talking, I'll do some Googling.
But I was going to say that as far as the kind of pace of the game, they couldn't be more different. We've spoken about it before, how we went and saw the Super Bowl this year, which was superb. Wait, was it this year or last year?
We vlogged about it, so I think it would have been 2017.
Okay. Yeah, we went and saw that. And it was super fast-paced and interesting, and kind of there's always something going on, and if not, then they're showing you all the kind of the plays. And as we said, it was the best game to kind of drink to.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
Whereas I've watched every now and then, I find I'm in the kind of those dark corners of YouTube where you're finding just those random kind of like the 50 best pitchers in Major League Baseball 2006. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to watch 3 hours of this, please. That sounds amazing.
You don't have a huge amount to do you?
Not now. No, time's finished. But yeah, I don't know. I've never really been that kind of fond of baseball. I don't know why.
It's never really appealed. I get that it's probably a very cultural thing. We'll probably have some American viewers listeners even writing in and telling us.
Readers.
So yeah,
readers
writing in, and telling us that we're completely wrong. But it's never. It just seems boring. I'm going to say it, guys. It just seems boring.
And this, obviously, my younger brother, one of them, is a particularly fine cricketer. He's really good, and it never ceases to amaze me whenever, if we're in the back garden playing with the dog or something, and he throws just like a tennis ball. And I have absolutely no idea how he can throw as far as he does.
Where does this power come from?
Such an amazing arm, it's crazy. And it's almost, my reaction is I'll watch him throw a ball and I'll start crying with laughter because I just can't compute it. I don't understand how it works. So, and when you watch these guys, in
yeah, I imagine
league,
if I was to see it up close, I would be.
Oh, it's so impressive. It's really, and there's a tremendous amount of kind of athleticism.
But that's the thing. Like a lot of the time, you do see pictures of baseball players, but baseballers. What's the name?
Ballers.
Ballers. You see ballers,
yeah,
and they don't look like athletes a lot of the time.
No.
Like they, but in the same way, I suppose they look at footballers and they don't always look like athletes.
Or if you look, who are the really, really big ones in rugby?
Oh, like number 8.
Yeah.
Or
how they basically just look like they've walked out of the pub.
Yeah.
They're just big.
It's the rugby version of like a linebacker.
Yeah.
You are here to tackle.
You're like, oh great, okay. That's fun.
But then I watched a really interesting video from Vox actually, which is a great YouTube channel, about how I'm completely going off the rails. American football is getting more specialised because of I think it was a rule change in the 80s or something to do with substitutions. I think that basically meant that you had the super specialisation into offence and defence,
right?
Which means that the defensive players are gigantic and the offensive players are just super fast, like Bullet.
Yeah.
And so it sounded Russian then. They are fast like Bullet.
Like Bullet. Look
My
at
God.
Bullet go.
Birds have man in sight. So this is one of Dan and I's favourite videos at the moment. It's just the best of Game Grumps, which is an amazing gaming YouTube channel playing a terrible game called Devil's Third, and them doing bad Russian accents.
Yeah.
And I've watched this literally 30 times.
Yeah, well, usually if it's been a particularly long day, we'll both kind of collapse on the sofa, look at each other, and go, "We need a bit of this, don't we?" Yeah, okay, and like stick it on, and it is amazing. My God,
Both
giant
have man
metal
inside.
bird have men inside, and that's obviously that's a plane.
Watch it.
It's
so
hilarious.
good.
It really is.
So, to return to the point about American sports,
Yes,
and which ones were biggest,
Mm-hmm.
I have a table here.
Right.
American football is the favourite sport of America. With, oh, hang on. Oh, I think this is in a poll. But they asked people, "What is your favourite sport?"
It's in a what?
A poll.
There we go. See?
Sorry, did I say poll?
We correct.
again?
Yeah, we corrected. We worked on it last week. You've done your homework, and we're better.
There was a poll, and 38.8% of Americans said that they would rate American football as their favourite sport.
Right.
Then 15.3%, so a massive drop, say basketball.
Okay.
And then 14.8% baseball/softball.
That's because it's dull as shit, as we've established. So there we go. I'm also the reason why.
Interestingly, though, just after that, soccer. I wouldn't have thought.
Really?
It's actually more popular than ice hockey.
Okay.
Because when you think of like north of the US, I definitely think of ice hockey. Possibly because we watch Red Letter Media, who are in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Like it's basically Canada by that point.
I mean, we're just kind of adhering to the stereotypical kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, they must like this, right?
In the same way that you think of
Because
the
all
UK
Canadians
and-
live in igloos, and we know this. It's fine.
and all English people are like football hooligans.
Yeah.
Which just basically means that we're like fantasy orcs. I mean, have you ever noticed this? That fantasy orcs, if anybody ever role plays, they'd always just become like a football hooligan.
I don't think I have noticed this.
It's like Warhammer orcs, for example, and all the video games are always just like you're going, "Do you want some, mate? Yeah, come on."
God. Actually, now you're going to say that. I just was
Yeah.
getting. What was the? What about their linen? They're fresh.
So this was coming back from, what were we singing for?
I have no idea.
It was something else, and like we were walking past a house which had their washing outside.
And I think before we were walking, we'd been watching compilations of Lord of the Rings or something.
we've been talking about it or
Yeah.
something, and I just turned to Dan and I point at the washing line. And I was like, "What about their linen?
Yeah.
They're fresh.
They don't need those. Like, oh, it was
What about
amazing.
their pants? They don't need those."
Oh man, this is. I mean, if you haven't, our dear readers, established yet, most of our
the least accurate way to describe
This is it.
That's it. Our audience are now called the readers.
The readers, yeah. Most of our conversation consists of making puns and references to films or books we like.
And you know you've won when you make the other person cry with laughter.
Yeah.
Like our favourite person possibly in the entire world, Peter, our friend Peter, who does this
who
to us
graduated
frequently.
today.
Yeah, we're so proud of him.
Congratulations, Peter. I got
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
But the number of times that he has brought us to tears.
He really is.
If you've watched my YouTube videos, he was the person who came up with Santa Quack.
Yeah, which is just...
What happens if
that's
you
an
cross-
enigma in itself.
What happens if you cross, what was it, Christmas with a duck? I
Yeah.
think was that the riddle?
I think
Santa
so.
Quack was his attempt to answer it.
He's glorious. He's a special, special man.
But yeah, most of our conversations are basically us just trying to make each other laugh.
Yeah.
In fact, this podcast is literally, if we took away the microphones, it is just as if we were having a conversation.
Yeah, the only difference is we have to stop the conversation slightly. We literally put microphones in front of us
Yeah.
and then resume
It's like,
talking.
oh yeah, should we start recording now? Oh yeah, we've been doing
okay.
it for a while. In fact, we were also just like reading each other facts beforehand.
Yeah.
You know, this is the most natural anything we do could possibly be, which might be why you like it.
Yeah.
And we
it's
hope
good.
you like it.
Oh yeah, fingers crossed. Well, we might see, as a spoiler for
will,
later, we'll read some correspondence out, and we'll see what people think. Hopefully, it's all positive. I'm also hoping that someone just tries to rip us to shreds as well.
Well, I'm still holding out for the fan fiction.
Yeah.
We had an attempt was made today.
Yeah, attempt in that it wasn't especially witty.
Shall I?
It just literally got to the point, and the point being my penis.
No, it was my penis.
It was my penis.
Was it? Okay, right. Okay, so some context.
No, it was my penis. It was my penis.
I'm Spartacus. So I have a community tab on my YouTube channel because I went to YouTube Next Up, which means I can share videos
Oh, do you do
from other
YouTube?
people. Yeah. Did I not mention this?
No, I didn't know.
Have you seen 2001?
I hate you.
That video isn't even out yet. We recorded some new
That's
Kerbal
such a
Space
meta
program.
reference.
And I kept asking, because I kept genuinely forgetting that
Yeah.
I just had kept asking Dan if he'd seen 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah, we were hysterical that night, to be fair.
So I shared the video from the Chapel YouTube channel of Bohemian Rhapsody, as sort of saying, I recorded this. Watch this, it's great. And something we've been doing all week has been changing lyrics to songs to be wildly inappropriate.
Yeah.
Are there
And
any
not,
which we could
not
repeat?
big, not clever,
No.
just properly childish. And that's what makes it so funny. And most of this has been contributed by Peter and Hugo.
Yeah.
And who are just... it's a masterclass in toilet humour.
It's impressive how bad it is.
Yeah.
I think one of my favourites recently was in Bohemian Rhapsody, in the middle of the rock section, Sorry, I couldn't have sounded more middle class if I tried then. In the middle of the rock section, say instead of singing "So you think you can love me and leave me to die," no, you think you can love me and spit in my eye.
So you think you can stone me and spit in my eye.
That's it. So instead of that, singing "So you think you can bum me and jizz in my eye."
Yeah, it's just so childish, but I love it.
Amazing. And what's
Is this
even more
the
amazing?
queer life? Is this gay fantasy? Caught in a backside. No escape from reality. It's brilliant. And this is something that we're going to sing as part of the kind of tradition when going down to Truro. When we finish singing at the graduation ceremonies, we get back on the bus, and it's about a 2.5 hour journey.
Yeah, it's a fair journey.
Back up, rather, to Exeter. So we usually stop off at, an off licence or a bottle-o for the Australian listeners out there, I believe is what it's called when I was there.
You do this every journey, though. Like, remember when you did that gig in London and you just got sozzled?
Oh, yeah.
Corin and
I...
This was the journey when you just decided it was the funniest thing whenever the train conductor came back. Just to be like, "You're all right there, governor.
Yeah,
Right, see my ticket."
This poor man had a vaguely Cockney accent, and he wasn't even, but he sounded basically normal. But I had drunk a bottle of wine, as had
Cockney's not
Corin,
normal.
and then we shared a bottle of port.
Again, middle class. That's the middle class klaxon.
Yeah. And this train driver came along and said,
I don't think he was driving there. If he was driving the train, I'd be really worried.
This conductor came along and said...
it was called Michael.
Yeah. He said, "Can I see your tickets, please?" But it was, vaguely kind of like...
"Can I see your tickets, please?"
Yeah, but it wasn't even like that. And I literally, because I was rather...
Merry?
Rather merry, quite jolly. I literally turned around with this gleeful look on my face, and I was like, "A right treat that would be, governor. Of course you can see my ticket. A right treat." And Michael turned around. Michael turned around and said, "If we get thrown off this train, I will kill you." It was just, it was amazing.
So we've got a few levels of abstraction to peel back. So going back to Truro.
Yes, basically we usually get some drinks and we drink back on the way on the bus, and we're going to make sure that we write down these new lyrics to Bohemian Rhapsody and sing them in full. It's basically double choir, isn't it? It's split tenor, it's split soprano.
But it's not. It's not like antiphonal.
No,
it's just sort of split parts.
Yeah. So actually, I think it's soprano, alto, tenor, bass. Yeah. But yeah, so that should be a lot of fun, and it'll be a nice way for those who are leaving. Like, it'll be your last time. Yeah. Peter's obviously moving on, and everyone else who's been graduating. It'll be a really nice way. A
fitting send off.
Yeah. A classy, considerate ending.
So then, to peel back the last layer of abstraction that we delved down. So we've been doing this all week, and one of my subscribers, who will remain nameless, has done the same thing. Badly. with no real kind of thought, apparently. But anyway. Also, there's stage directions. I don't know if I mentioned this.
Oh, no.
There's asterisk, science, Act 1 of Simon and Dan turn gay for money.
Oh, my God.
Which is like a Broadway thing, if I ever heard one.
You've brought this on yourselves, listeners. How dare you?
Simon. So presumably this is in the middle of... Oh, no, it's not the middle. It's the first section, isn't it? Instead of "I'm just a poor boy." Simon, "I'm just a pool boy." Dan, "I don't give a shit, just suck my cock." Screen direction, end science.
Yeah. Wow. It's amazing. It's like...
poetry, it rhymes.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It doesn't even match the lyrics.
It's like a Michael Bay film. It's that just worthless.
So, my audience and I are apparently on the same wavelength. But we were talking about the correspondence. We've yet to have any fan fiction written about us.
Well, I haven't read every single email yet.
Oh,
so
gosh.
You never know. We might get some.
I went full Corin then. I don't even know.
Crikey.
Corin are the most lovely man you'll ever meet. He's like a Richard Curtis protagonist.
He's a god amongst men.
And he smells amazing. I hugged him the other day and wow. He smells incredible.
Yeah. Although he wasn't smelling so good this morning.
Yes, because he didn't turn up this morning because he got so drunk last night that he couldn't turn up to the first service. And then he messaged... I think it was Imogen, one of our soprano friends, who got this message just saying, "Oh, crikey, gosh, I'm really in deep trouble."
He messaged the entire choir and said, "I'm so sorry, guy, for letting you all down." And we're like, "Corin, if anyone's going to get away with it, it's you. If anything, you're going to come back in." And Michael's going to be like, "No, you deserve that rest, mate."
As I put it, I can imagine him trying to make it up to our choir director, Michael, just coming in like Prince Ali.
Yeah.
Like a procession of sorry.
I have 10,000 bar golden camel. What are the lyrics to that?
It's definitely... I've only seen Aladdin like once. That's definitely the second strongest song in Aladdin.
Oh, yeah.
After Friend Like Me. not Brave New World, A Whole New World can do one, because I think it's a wildly overrated song. Fight me, people who want to email in.
He's got 75 golden camels. Purple peacocks, he's got 53. When it comes to exotic type mammals, has he got a zoo? I'm telling you, it's a world-class menagerie.
Prince Ali, where can it be? I only know the Paint lyrics.
Oh, man.
This is a flashback to when we were at VidCon and singing our hearts out.
Yeah, right at the back of the entire hall, sitting at the back.
Yeah, I'd love it if everyone else in front was quiet and you just hear us.
It was now can you remember the two girls' names? Who was
Lely was her username.
Yes, that's right.
Who just met us. And was like, oh, do you want to sit with us? Oh, yeah, great. It'd be nice to,
She had no idea what she was in for.
Then Paint came on stage to do his After Ever After, and yeah, we were full on going for
all the lyrics in harmony.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Which if you don't, this is the After Ever After, which is a dark vision of what happened to all the princesses from Disney after their films finishes.
Yes.
Finished.
Finished.
It is finished.
Father, I commend thy spirit.
Into thy hands I commend my spirit.
Yes, very true. Very true.
So you're a stainer upon our reputation.
He's done it. He's worked out.
I hope there's a pun counter in these. Somebody did say that they really like the puns. Well, you're in luck.
Well, if anything was going to be animated, it could be our pun counter.
Yes.
That's a subtle
if
hint
anyone
there.
would like to do
please do an
Wikicast
animation.
animated.
It would be so good.
We're big fans of that.
Anyway, who was it? Yeah.
Sorry, I just passed out for a second.
Yeah, God, I don't know what happened there.
Did some bunch of guys just come in?
Yeah, I think
get
the
really
microphone's
close to the
cut out or
microphones. Did our PS4 just turn on?
Yep.
Oh, what have you done?
Oh, I leant on it.
You've
with
leant
my
on. What is
thigh.
every episode? If you know, it's not your phone, it's the PS4. We had a police copper stroke.
Oh, yeah.
Police chopper came in last time.
A helicopter.
Helicopter.
Yeah.
Yep. And we're probably gonna have a delivery man in the middle of this for all I know.
Yeah.
Most professional of podcasts.
Of
In the words of somebody today, they realised people who don't know Simon and Dan listen to this.
Yeah. Yeah. You normally think the only reason people do listen to us is because they have to spend time with us on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
Apparently not.
Yeah. There's
We are
1,000 of
tremendously
you listening
grateful.
to each episode.
Yeah.
So yeah, wow.
To be part of your weekly routine.
We're now getting better at podcasting.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Because, we both... Oh, no, you still haven't, have you? I've been listening to a new podcast to get some inspiration for this called My Dad Wrote a Porno, which is exactly what it sounds like. Somebody's 60-year-old dad, when they retired, decided to write an hypnotic novel. And they read it chapter by chapter, and it's incredible.
Yeah.
Not least because I imagine the protagonist, for some reason, from the description, just popped into my mind that the protagonist looks like our friend Lily.
Yeah.
Which makes any reading so much more fun, so much more hilarious.
Yeah. She recommended it to us, I remember, when she came over.
Yeah, she did.
I haven't watched it yet. Well, because I can't watch it because it's a podcast. But I haven't listened to it yet either.
Hopefully we'll be doing some filming with Lily this week. We've got a few video ideas
Definitely,
on our YouTube channel if you're not watching this on Spongy and Electric.
Yeah.
If you are not watching it, then we have a YouTube channel called Spongy and Electric, which has this podcast done, but also some gaming stuff like Kerbal Space Program.
Which is what we were referencing earlier. There'll be another video going
which
up
I
soon.
will get around to editing, I promise. I'm just dying a little bit at the moment because...
You're very busy.
I'm a very busy boy.
Yeah.
I haven't had a day off in 3 weeks. Well, actually, no, that's not true, actually, since I came back from Croatia, whenever that was. Because I had a lovely holiday in Croatia.
Yeah.
Did we record one before I went? I think it was the day before, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the day before you left.
Yes, and I had a lovely time. Thank you for asking. I was in Zadar, and it was Pixel Girl's birthday.
Oh, yes.
And we went for a really nice dinner, and I met a huge fan in the street.
Oh, cool.
He was a metal fan. He really liked Metallica, and he was keeping everybody cool by turning his head slowly from side to side. It was a fan. That's the joke, guys. It's a fan. It was a metal fan.
Get out. Just leave. Get in the shed.
Also, side note, Zadar is one of my new favourite places because there are cats everywhere. And as Dan will attest, I love cats.
And as I will attest, I hate cats. I do not see the point of cats. I'm a dog person through and through. We have a dog at home. His name is Fiver, after one of the rabbits in Watership Down. He's a black lab, and he is absolutely lovely.
He is.
Cats are hellspawn. I don't want to sound like...
they want to be loved and they want to love.
They don't, though. They want to be loved, and then they'll tolerate you at best. And if it's not in their best interest, they will turn against you.
I think you can tell that you grew up with a dog and I grew up with a cat.
Yeah.
Because I am very much like a cat.
Well, I used to, up until living with a family that also had a absolutely gorgeous dog. I was absolutely petrified of them. I had a
Really?
really, really awful experience with a dog. As a dog? When I was a dog.
When I was a young wart dog.
Yeah, I was.
It was a very
I would think I
singy
would have been-
episode, sorry.
Yeah. Well, it's been a singy
Yeah.
week.
Let's not go to Camelot. It is a singy place.
I was, I think, about maybe 5 or 6 years old, and I went to a birthday party of someone in my class at school, and there was just one, and this is so often the case, but there was one just not a particularly well-natured dog, and had a kind of like a snap at me, and ever since then, I was truly properly petrified of dogs. And interestingly enough, my mum did as well, and the only thing that kind of cured her fear when she was about that similar age was the family getting a dog themselves.
Yeah.
But it used to be a point, and I remember so vividly that if I was ever going to the beach or the park with the family, and mum or dad would move the car keys in their pocket, I'd hear that jingling, and it sounded to me like a dog's lead.
Oh, wow.
And I would immediately be like on
PTSD.
Really? Yeah, it was really awful, and it was kind of the worst thing. And this continued right the way up until I think I was about maybe 14 or 15. And then I got to know this dog with the family I was living with for a while.
You had like that scene from Up, where just it comes underneath your hand and is like, oh, I like dogs.
Yeah. And that's completely cured it now. And now obviously we're having our own dog. It's lovely, and dogs are just brilliant.
When in the first incident, would you describe the dog as having bounded over?
Are you asking if the dog came bounding over?
Again, another reference.
Yeah.
That's a viral video.
Hopefully everyone understands that's a reference. Otherwise, they think we're properly insane.
Don't all friends just bark at each other from time to time?
Of course they
Actually,
do.
we do bark at each other from time to time.
We do.
Wow, that made something resonate.
That was the guitar. It's resonant frequent. That must have been an E.
There was that time I farted and made it resonate.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I was really impressed with myself.
Oh, nice.
Oh man, what has this podcast become? It's all just.
What have we become?
Yeah. Why
Is this the real life?
Is this just fantasy?
Oh god.
We were talking about baseball once, weren't we?
Yeah, God, we were. Where are we now?
I don't even know. We're in a fantasy or possibly a Sprite ocean.
I tell you where we could go.
To the comment section?
We could go to email
Inbox.
corner.
Ooh, Dan's email corner. Don't step in that, it's sticky.
Should we go to email corner?
Let's go to email corner.
Cue email corner jingle.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
That's great. Is that Zelda?
I don't think
we're allowed to do that.
Yeah, okay. We'll come up with one for next time.
Congratulations are in order.
Oh, thank you.
For our first person to contact the show.
Hey!
Her name is Maddie Sisk.
Congratulations, Maddie!
Congratulations, Maddie. She was so keen, she sent 2 messages.
Oh, bless her.
And they're brilliant, so we're going to start with her.
A double yolk.
A double yolk. Is the yolk easy?
It's
so.
easy.
It's a Handel's Messiah joke there.
How many more can we cram in? I'm trying to shut the lid, but it's not going down.
Good evening. I have no clue if this will be your first message, but better give it a shot.
It was.
Okay, we're going to get there's 4 questions here. First, on the topic of QR codes, my elementary school used them for interactive assignments or something.
Ah.
There you go. Must have been...
Was that a question?
No, these are just statements, I think. But
all right.
She must have gone to school in like the 1700s.
Nice
2,
parcel tongue there.
Your chorus concert on the 22nd is on my birthday, so please do well for me. So that's tomorrow.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Maddie. Hope you have a lovely day. 3, what's the worst movie you've ever seen?
In the cinema, Independence Day Resurgence.
In our own viewing, and we'll say it on 3.
Oh,
1,
hang on.
2, 3.
The Room.
If you haven't seen The Room, go and watch it. And that's another segue because they're making the mockumentary.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to it. I need to read the book first, actually.
And the 4th point, we have a riddle.
Ooh.
And as an English student, I love a riddle. Simon, you're going to see. I'm going to give you as much time as I deem necessary.
Which I'll edit down to make it sound more impressive.
Yeah. You can see me in the water, but I never get wet. What am I? So to see you in the water, what would you have to be doing to the water?
Well, looking through it.
Or looking...
Looking at it.
Yeah.
Goggles?
What might be looking back at you that never gets wet?
The void.
No. Okay, that's time up, Simon. That's a very good attempt. The answer was a reflection. See, that is good,
that
isn't
is
it?
good. That is good.
Her second message, she adds, first message part 2. I forgot to add, love your podcast. It's taught me so many random things. Simon, your YouTube channel.
Some of them are true.
Yeah, Simon, your YouTube channel is my favourite, and supporting you via Patreon and YouTube is a pleasure.
Thank
Both
you
of
very
you
much.
keep being the awesome nerds that you are. Cheers, Maddie says. Thank you, Maddie.
We will. Sorry, I'm shouting now.
We have another one from, and now this is going to hark back to Dan absolutely butchering accents.
Will it hark? This is another reference.
Yeah, it's the Wexford Carol by the one, the only Tim Noon, of
which
Exeter
Dan
Cathedral.
had to say it
Yeah.
in the recording.
This is the one time in music that I've ever...
to be flummoxed.
I could not pitch this. It was just a really awkward interval, and thankfully one of our dear friends and a choral scholar at the cathedral, brilliant tenor.
I'll consider my Matt.
Yeah, he sang first tenor with us and basically carried Sam and I through it because we could not pitch it for the life of us.
After about 25 takes.
Pretty much, yeah. It was very, very embarrassing.
But yes, this harkens back.
To my butchering foreign accents.
Oh, here we go.
So this person is called Tapio Kirkinen.
I wish, dear reader, you could see Dan's face.
Tapio Kirkinen.
Wow.
He said the subject is I love the podcast. Hey Dan and Simon, I just wanted to say that I've really enjoyed the first 3 episodes of the Wikicast. The podcast really helps me forget how much pain in every muscle of my body is in while training for the 10k run I'm participating in a month or so.
Oh, what a lad.
Awesome. I really like the tangents and the wild segues between topics, so don't worry about those. They give the podcast a nice organic feel of a chat between friends, which is brilliant because I hate Simon, so I'm glad that we
are very good at acting. Congratulations on trying to do a 10k.
Yeah,
I think that's fantastic. I love doing 10ks.
He's excited to see our Baby Driver review, but I'll have to wait because of reasons unknown to me. The film will premiere here in Finland. He's Finnish.
Finnish. When he gets to the
It is
finish line.
Finnish, Ed. It's if his name was Ed. It is Finnish, Ed. Anyway. I'm eagerly waiting for more PhD vlogs from Simon.
Oh.
I'm finishing my bachelor's in mathematics, and I'm thinking of going for a math PhD after a master's, and the vlogs have given me a nice new look on life for a PhD student. Overall, you guys make some of my favourite non-content on the internet and have kept me entertained for many hours. Keep it up. Best regards, Tapio Kirkinen.
That does explain the name.
Yeah.
Before going to the PhD, definitely do the master's year and weigh your options, because math, if you want to do pure maths in particular, it's a hard path to walk.
We have another one here, which is I'm already excited.
Good luck for the 10k. Sorry, just cutting you off.
By the subject from Kelsey.
Keep it your training regime.
Why is your podcast called Spongy and Electric? Simon, why is the podcast called Spongy and Electric?
Okay, so we went through some product development for our YouTube channel, and we were trying to think of a name, and can you think of any of the other names that we tried? Because I can't remember any of them.
We did have Real Talk.
Oh yeah, because it was originally just going to be about films.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this for quite a while. It was like over a week.
Yeah.
With all these different names, and I was like, we need something. You know, we need something that's spongy and electric, which is something that our friend Michael said to us we were doing Vivaldi's Gloria in a concert.
Yeah.
And he said this. He gave direction. Was it to the tenors specifically, or was it to everyone?
I think it was to the whole choir. I think basically it was lacking energy, but rather than saying it's lacking energy, he said,
can it be more spongy and electric?
Yeah. To which
you know
the choir
I mean?
went, yeah, all right. Sure.
We'll just do exactly what we did before.
Yeah.
So I said that to Dan. I was like, oh yeah, this would, the name needs to be spongy and electric. And then we were like, wait.
That's it. It's perfect.
It was like the moment in Deadpool.
Yeah.
Like, Captain Deadpool.
Yeah.
So that's where the name comes from.
Kelsey is a physics student in Brisbane.
Hey!
Well, hey. And she's...
Away, man!
I greatly enjoy my occasional dose of Simon and Dan rambling. It's resulted in me in periodically chuckling on my traffic-ridden bus route to uni every day. I quite like the format of the podcast, and tangents you go on are always funny.
Can we put that as a health warning? Warning may cause periodic chuckling.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's about me. I've regularly enjoyed Dan's input in the vlogs, and I get stupidly excited whenever he mentions Australia. I lived there for 9 years, mentioning Australia. There's things to get excited over. I also quite like your movie reviews on the Combined channel, and the episode on Kerbal Space Program has had me cracking up. I hope the living satellite is okay up there. Well,
funny you should mention.
Well, tune into the next episode because
next couple of episodes. Because boy, are you in for a trip.
Yeah, you're in for a thrill ride. Also, Simon, your meme shirts are top notch and have inspired me to introduce some Louis Theroux / Bob Ross to my wardrobe.
Oh, that's very
Thanks
nice.
for laughs. She's also included a latex meme for your entertainment, Simon.
Oh, it's latex when you say it out loud.
Oh, right. Cool. I didn't know that. I'm going to show Simon that meme now.
LaTeX, for those who are confused, is used in bondage, but it's also refers to basically a programming language for typesetting. So it's what I'm writing my thesis in, and it's infinitely superior to all forms of word processors like Word if you know how to use it.
Right, there's another piece of correspondence here from Jake Layer.
Sorry, what was his surname?
Jake Layer.
Jake Layer.
I hope I didn't butcher that too much. There's a lot there.
There's much to discuss.
Yeah, so I'm quickly scanning. I was a student at Exeter not long ago. Marvellous.
Sorry, that's my reaction to all the emails now. Way!
I understand it's difficult to find lenses that will get Dan's forehead in frame. Right, cool.
Oh, funny you should mention that, because
we've got some more feedback. I'm not going to read your... No.
My favourite picture in the world at the moment is Dan, as we mentioned last time, directs another choir called the Cuddly Salterton Male Voice Choir.
Yeah.
And there's a picture of him with the choir in the cathedral for a concert, except
whoever's mocked up these photos doesn't know how to edit a photo, and it's so distorted that I look like Brain from Thunderbirds.
His forehead is, I'm not even exaggerating, his forehead is about the size of his lower body.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. We'll find a way. We'll follow me or Simon on Twitter, and it'll be on Twitter.
So you are at?
I'm at Daniel J. Moore, I believe.
I don't know, are you?
I don't know.
I'm at Simon Oxfizz.
Yeah, Oxfizz. Yeah, Simon has... you have tweeted it, haven't you?
Yeah.
So you'll be able to find it from there. It's hilarious.
So good.
I think it's excellent.
Yes, finding the lenses is difficult.
He does make up for it by saying Dan should definitely set up his own channel. I know a lot of us viewers want more Dan in our lives. How very kind of you, Jake. Thanks so much. He's studying in Sweden.
Oh, wow. Scandinavian contingent day.
As an added incentive, there are some lovely cathedrals here. Well, we can now officially announce that Simon and I are touring with our new choir, the Simon and Dan Consort, to Sweden now. Yeah.
We're there. Oh my god, it's so cold.
Yeah. It's so cold.
He says, sat in his pants.
Yeah, we haven't. We should add. We walked
back
home
from uni,
and it was like stupidly wet. The weather was
monsoon.
Yeah. So we just got in and took all our clothes off and recorded a podcast.
I'm just sat here in
there
my
you go.
pants.
That's something for the fan fiction there.
Yep.
There's another one from Chris Ruse. He's already a fan of the podcast and he'd like to take the chance to send us an email.
Well, go ahead.
Thank God, this is really good. Firstly, I have to say that despite having zero interest in choral music, I'm so sorry, I happily listened through the entire section discussing it. You seem to have a knack for making seemingly niche subjects interesting. Well, thank Christ.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you'd be in a world of
this
trouble.
Podcast.
Bat's sound piqued my interest, and I went on a surf myself to find what I can only describe, which contains a section of bat sounds available for our listening pleasure.
Oh my god!
Bat sounds!
Bat sounds. Oh, that's Stingray. Whoops.
Okay, I'm going to give you a choice of the greater horseshoe bat, the serotine bat,
right,
the brown long-eared bat.
No. Bat sounds. That's the one. Sorry,
cool.
Go on.
And the common pipistrelli bat. Which one do you want to hear?
Pipistrelli.
Pipistrelli? Because it sounds like Papa Marcelli.
Yeah, exactly. Mr. Popper's... What was it? When we put it through Google Translate, it was Mr. Popper's Marcelli.
That's it, yeah. Right, here we go.
Oh my god, it sounds like a fart.
Chap.
Huh?
That was a bit...
That's a very articulate bat.
That's a bit of... I've been listening to a Harry Potter audiobook. Again, the professionals. Well, there we go. I mean,
can we play that again? Or actually, play a different species. That sounded like a fart.
Sure. We've got this one.
That kind of sounded like someone slapping Peter's belly.
Yeah. So basically what we can establish from this is that your bat impression was crap. Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't quite sound like a bat. Although I have worked with bats. I even did a bunch of videos with Durrell Conservation Charity about Livingston fruit bats, which are these huge bats with like 5-foot wingspans. They made kind of like those kinds of noises. You can watch them on my channel if you like.
Right. We've got something from Jamie, JX93. Questions, suits and ties / atmospheric physics. Dear Dan, someone I'd like to say thanks for making a podcast. You've made my daily walks a bit more entertaining in spite of having a broken headphone jack. Poor Jack.
Poor Jack.
I listen to them out loud. Anyway, I have some questions which may or may not segue.
Are you
into
walking down the street with just these two people talking, coming out of your phone?
I have a lot of respect for you.
Wow, that guy's having a conversation with himself.
Firstly, Simon, as you're an atmospheric physics student, I don't know if you could answer this for me, or this may be a genuinely stupid question, as my knowledge of physics okay, I'm going to say, Jamie, I'm going to introduce to you the concept of a comma. It's probably going to help out.
You're going to be put into a medically induced
Never
comma?
think you can use too many. Just chuck in an Oxford comma and you'll be absolutely fine. GCSE physics. I did my GCSEs in 2010. When did you do yours, old man? 1835?
2007.
Okay, so not too bad. Anyway, my question which kept me up the other night is, what if the moon had the properties of the sun and the sun had the properties of the moon? How will this affect Earth, the atmosphere, and physical geography and geopolitics?
God. Well, okay, depends what you mean by physical properties. Because if the moon has the physical properties of the sun in that it is the size of the sun,
Yeah,
the Earth is a long way inside the sun.
Yeah. Okay, let's say for argument's sake that the moon is the same size regardless. It's just basically it's a shrunk down sun.
You know what that would mean? That would mean that, assuming that there's no sun now, that the sun is a giant moon, which would mean that the gravitational pull of the sun would be much bigger because it's made of rock instead of hydrogen. But that would mean that the old view of the sun going around the Earth would actually be true.
Sorry, say that again. I wasn't listening. I'll tell you why, because he's talking to me about what's your guide for suits and suit buying. I just got massively egotistical. I was like, well, I don't know. And then you were talking about f***ing moons and suns and stuff. And I was like,
you're talking about science.
Yeah, I'm not that phased.
Yeah, like the idea that if the moon was actually like the glowing disc in the sky, then yeah, it would actually go around the Earth. So it would be like the old cosmological idea.
Oh, cool. So we would be like the centre.
Yeah, and presumably the radial heating effects would be even more. So like the bits when it's midday would be even warmer. Because that'd be interesting. I was tell you what, I had an idea for a video. Maybe I shouldn't announce this. I don't want it to get nerd sniped. Okay, no. Let's just say I want to do a video called "Making an Atmosphere Out of Penguins." Which I think is going to be a great one.
That sounds exciting.
But yeah, wow, that's a big question. Ask that to Randall Munro.
Good question though. Even I'm interested, and I'm not especially sciencey.
Yeah. Well
Secondly, Dan is a fellow suit aficionado, though more enthusiastic than knowledgeable. All right, mate.
Wow. A bit of shade being thrown here.
Oh, wait, no, he meant him.
Oh, right.
Again, sorry. Right, what is your guide for suits buying? I'd love it if this is... Just to put it into perspective, the question about science is 3 sentences.
Yeah.
I've got a whole paragraph.
Is this something that our listeners at home, our readers at home, will really want to know about?
Ooh, as I am an enthusiastic participant of the Model United Nations.
Oh, I used to
did
do
that.
MUN.
Yeah. And Western business attire is appropriate. My personal suit choice colour is dark blue, white shirt or powder blue, and whichever tie matches the suit. Brown loafers along with a flag pin, badge of the country I'm representing.
Brown loafers. Actually, yeah, with a blue suit.
With a blue suit, yeah. As long as you're wearing a brown belt, I can't see any problems there.
Strong
the next country I'm representing is the People's Republic of China.
Good luck.
Veto rights. Awesome.
But yeah, it depends if you're on Security Council. That's heavy. If you're on human rights, good luck.
Yeah, yeah, you're in trouble.
Shout out to all our Chinese listeners if this gets through the firewall.
Dan, which colours would you normally suggest for suits, particularly Western business attire? Oxfords or brogues? Definitely Oxfords.
I'm just going to go and sit over in the Simon apparently can't play corner.
Okay. What would you go, Oxfords or brogues? Oxfords, definitely.
Oxfords, yeah. Oxfords.
Except unless you're wearing the Clark Specials.
Yes, which are my deck shoes. I'm sorry, boat shoes. Which all the pairs of shoes I own, because I'm poor as shit, are falling to pieces.
Because I'm poor as shit.
Have you seen my shoes?
Yeah, I have seen your shoes. They're pretty great. We've got one from Kieran here. Would you be able to upload the podcast onto Simon's Patreon just as an audio format?
Well, we do upload it on Podbean, which can be listened to without registration online.
Mm-hmm.
I could put it on Patreon. We could potentially. We were discussing this actually. We were thinking of doing a Patreon for the podcast, perhaps as an alternative to doing ads, because we do have to pay to host this. But that's something to. If you have any strong feelings about that, you can always email us. But that's something to come to further down the road.
It is also worth saying that you can pretty much do anything with the RSS feed. Yes, that's why we've got it. So
it was worth you setting it up.
Yeah. Well, it was absolutely imperative to get it on iTunes for one thing. But yeah, if you're using any third-party applications to play your podcasts, there should be a feature there for you to add the RSS feed in, and it will update it and basically treat it like a normal one.
We've now moved from Dan's question corner to Dan's technical support corner.
Yeah, you've contacted tech support.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Grant McGregor,
Grant in
podcast animated sound waves. Hey guys, just a quick message to say keep up the great work as always. Thank you, Grant. My question is, with regards to your background animated sound waves, I am an aspiring podcast creator and would like to recreate a similar effect. How do you go about producing such graphics based on the recording? All the best, Grant. Simon.
Oh, right. Well, so this took me a little while to work out. It's using After Effects, Adobe After Effects, and basically, I can't remember the exact name of it, but if you search for waveform, I think, in effects, then you'll get... It's something like Audio Waveform Animator, or something like that, which you apply to a solid of whatever colour you want the waveform to be, and then you set the target track, the source track to be whatever the audio track is, and then you can play shut up, I'm nearly done, and then you can play with things like the number of bars. Basically, just if you Google tutorials for it, or if you can work off those steps, then play around with the settings. And then you should be able to do it. Sorry, you've done a mimer there.
There we go.
Our friend who has fallen asleep between probably every single service.
Yeah,
and I keep waking up by tickling her feet. And it's amazing, because she goes from sleeping like an angel just to being like, whoa!
And our final piece of correspondence for today is from Henrik Stocken. I absolutely love your podcast. By the way, the newest episode is rated explicit, so yeah, that clean rating didn't really work out, Dan. Keep them coming, Henrik. Also, I've been watching all the episodes like 3 times each. New one soon, please. Well, that message was sent an hour ago, and we started recording this podcast an hour ago.
So,
perfect timing, Henrik.
Your prayers have been answered.
Yeah.
The Henrik maneuver has been completed. I don't know why that episode would have been flagged as explicit, because there isn't any swearing.
I flagged it myself.
Oh,
this was the first case of swearing, and I just wanted to play it safe, so I marked it.
Well, because even though it was censored swearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put a beep over it.
Okay.
Over my nickname for you that was not going to be repeated.
Well, maybe I'll change that. Maybe I'll change.
I'll do all the swears from this one as well.
Okay.
So you can say all the times you want.
That's just divine.
Waffle.
Jesus. Well. And on that,
you large forehead.
That's so mean. I think you're really nice. I think you're an inspiration to me, and I really like you as being my housemate.
I don't like you stain. And on that bombshell.
Simon, what have we learnt today?
Oh, I don't even know. Baseball's a sport.
Baseball's a sport. It's also boring as sin.
It's the 3rd most popular sport in America.
It is.
The guy called the Bullet.
The Bullet, Ben Ford. Darren Ford. Ben's not his name.
Are you thinking of Ben Folds, who wrote the
I'm thinking of Ted Ford, who was his father.
Oh, I see.
He's not his father, it's his grandson.
Oh my
God.
It's been a long week.
We've been singing a lot. We've been doing Bohemian Rhapsody. We've read out correspondence. We've answered questions.
Simon's tech support corner. Dan's guide to suits. Yep. What happened if the sun was the moon and the moon was the sun? I need to think about that one, actually. That was a good question.
It's been a busy, busy day.
That's all for this week's episode. Don't forget to subscribe to us on your podcasting service of choice. You can like us on Facebook, and if you'd like to see our faces, check out our YouTube channel, Spongy and Electric.
Fanfiction, suit recommendations, and other thoughts on the show can be sent to us at spongyandelectric@gmail.com.
Wait, Dan, sorry, about that. We've been telling people the wrong email address.
What?
Yeah, it's not Spongy and Electric. It's just Spongy Electric at gmail.com.
How embarrassing.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
Right, okay, let's do that again.
Okay. Fanfiction, suit recommendations, and other thoughts on the show can be sent to us at spongyelectric@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
Join us again for another tumble down the wiki rabbit hole, and we'll see you next time. F*** you, large forehead.